Welcome to Trash Talk, a podcast by Zero Waste Canada. I'm your host, Alistair McCallum. I moved to Canada in 2017 from England, and I've since held a variety of roles in the waste industry, and currently sit on the Zero Waste Canada board. On this podcast, we will dive deep into the world of zero waste and the circular economy, speaking with change makers who are helping to lead us to a more waste-free, sustainable planet. On today's Trash Talk, we are joined by Bing and William, co-founders of Luxinn Supply Corp. All right, Trash Talk is back again. I'll let you guys intro yourselves, who you are and what your company does. Fire away.
So thank you so much for inviting us onto this podcast. My name is Bing, and I'm here with my business partner, William.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Awesome. So to give you a little bit of ourselves, we both come from a blend of hotel management, short-term rental, vacation rental management, and distribution. We actually worked together. At my very first job, you actually got me my very first professional job. So we were in a distribution setting, sending out products from our warehouse to all over Canada for one of our biggest clients. And then when we decided to start our own business, we went into hospitality. We managed multiple properties in vacation rental management. So with those backgrounds combined, we saw firsthand the day-to-day challenges that operators face from distribution side and also from hospitality side when it comes to managing margins while still delivering a great guest experience, right? So when we were working in the hospitality business, we realized how much waste was baked into the system, right? Like linens gets used every single day, and every time we flip it, it gets washed, and when they get stained, they get discarded, and there's no real way to kind of recycle that type of waste, right? People always reuse, but at the end of the day, they all get discarded into the landfill. So, and a lot of these linens were made of synthetic materials, which are harmful to the environment at the end of life. And once we look deeper into it, the impact doesn't happen at the end of the life. They actually cause harm to the environment at each wash cycle. They release microplastics that can contaminate safe drinking water. And that's from every time you wash the linens, right? And yet there was no real alternatives to this type of products unless you're using truly organic, very expensive materials like organic cotton or hemp or things like that. But it just wasn't scalable. It wasn't suitable for our case.
Yeah.
And then I came from a family of manufacturers also, so I know where things are made, where things come from, where innovation is being created on a daily basis. So I started looking into, okay, where can I find sustainable fabrics, right? And then I started looking into who can make those fabrics into linens that are most suitable for our user case. And then I finally found a product that was going to be revolutionized, and that's how we found the company.
Yeah. And quickly to interject, like when we worked together at both at the manufacturing and within the short-term rentals, regardless of the two different industries, we realized that they're both very wasteful in their own ways. So I think once we kind of got to it, we realized a lot of companies are struggling to meet those metrics, even for themselves, even when they're a global international business. So I think it really piqued like our interest, and as we went into our next business here together.
Was there like one moment or like one day you guys had the idea? Like what happened to like spark that thought of like, here's our next step, here's the business idea, here's the future?
Yeah, basically what happened was that funny enough, with the short-term rentals, there was a lot more regulations coming across. And what was happening for us is that we actually had a big storage warehouse, like where we kept a bunch of materials, and we were like looking at what to do with the rest of this, and we're thinking about like, man, we don't even have that many units, about let's say close to 20, and we're thinking about like, what are we going to do with this? So we're like, okay, well, the option are like we try and sell or we throw it out, which is really not what we want to do. And basically, one other thing that Bing didn't mention, we also had connections and some relationship within the hospitality and hotel management, like he said. And within that, when I was actually talking to our connection, they actually let us know that this is not a unique issue. It's an issue that is across the board. And that's really kind of what sparked us to like really look into like, well, we already know what they need.
Yeah.
We already know that they're being wasteful, right? What else do we not know that maybe they don't even want to look at, right? Because it's like kind of like hide things under the bed and hope no one looks at it, right? So I think from there, that really kind of sparked us like do some research, see what's going on, and then really kind of uncover what's there. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. We'll come on to the science kind of bit afterwards, like the benefits of the solution. But I'm just curious, like, so what clients are you like working with mainly right now? What's the kind of growth path been so far? What's the kind of like the past couple of years? What have that been for you guys, and how have you kind of found the uptake with your products going? Yeah.
Yeah, like for us right now, like I said, we have a big focus on the biodegradable being the most sustainable linen supplier in Canada. That's basically what we strive to be and who we are. So currently, we've been working a lot with like boutique hotels and resorts, and also to independent properties as well. So it's a bit of a range. So everyone's needs are a little different.
Yeah.
So we initially started with an independent, which is like a single owner operated a lot of times. They are usually looking to be very lean, work within to their budgets as they're, maybe first generation or just purchase one for the first time. And from that, it really built our confidence to work with bigger groups, which own multiple hotels across Canada. And that allowed us to get in through the door through like boutique hotels, resorts. You might see some in BC or some other places around Canada that we've been able to work with. And we've been able to kind of understand from, both ends of the spectrums that some people who are even on the very tightest of budgets, there's usually an opportunity there that is being missed that they can look at. And then also with these large companies, which, it's not even on the force of their mindset, that this is something that can not only save them money, but can actually embed what they're doing for sustainability in their own business, which is a really big thing as well.
Great. Yeah. And what kind of feedback are you getting from your clients, and what benefits are they really seeing from this solution?
So one thing we pride ourselves on is that we're direct to manufacturer. So the feedback has been a lot about the cost reduction that we're able to give them. Because we're direct to manufacturer, we're actually cutting out a lot of the middleman that gives you that markup, right? So a lot of them were a little bit surprised at the beginning that our prices are actually so budget friendly, because they're just not used to that, right? They're used to being given what they've been given, right? There's no really bargaining power in regards to, okay, well, I've been in business for this long, based on relationship, can you give me a little bit more? And because the competition is so little in this industry, there's only a few giants controlling the supply. They usually don't get that type of deals that they'll get with us. So a lot of feedback has been around that. And then once they see the results kind of prove themselves in terms of guest satisfaction and guest engagement, they kind of realize that, wow, this is kind of like the best of both worlds that they'll ever get.
Mm-hmm. And just also to touch base on to like kind of further Bing's point there, it's funny because a lot of times a lot of the first questions we get is people will be asking us if they're gonna like disappear once they put it in the wash, or funny questions like that, which we have to like let them know that's not how it works, kind of educate them that basically. Then we can talk more about the science later about the material, but it's no different than technically like the makeup is very similar to the strength of regular polyester, stuff like that. So getting that feedback, kind of doing some education, getting feedback on things like size, fitment. Like Bing said, we're direct to manufacture, so we were able to also get feedback and make those changes, which is typically not what you get. Sometimes they're going to tell you, unfortunately, what you see here is all we can do. So it allowed us to make us a lot more flexible and allows us to work with a lot more different clients than maybe typical, rather than having to focus on just one single like client in particular.
Yeah. I used to have some big hotel clients in previous roles, and like the big things were like cost, like data was a big thing as well. Like cost pressures were huge. Even like pre-COVID time, it was still a big avenue for them to reduce waste spend, and then getting more data. These big kind of like hotel chains wanted to get more ESG type data and what they're doing. So that was a good kind of good factors back then, and they're still obviously in play now, like you're saying as well. Getting those kind of cost savings and showcasing the results of these kind of solutions. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that you mentioned ESG ratings, because I was just speaking to a hotelier over the weekend, and he was asking about this product that I'm selling, the biodegradable, the sustainable linens, things like that, and he said it's really he's really glad to see that companies are taking that direction, because as a hotelier, he has a portfolio of hotels that he tries to propose to corporate stays, right? So he's trying to get business from huge corporations like some of the energy companies that we have here in Canada that relocate people all the time. And when they're trying to submit a bid for that contract, one of the questions that they ask is, how sustainable are you as a hotel? What kind of practices do you have in place that are environmentally friendly, that ensure that your hotel limits the amount of waste that it produces, right? So, when these corporations are looking into that, that creates the demand for products like ours to that align with that kind of core value of the hotel.
Great. Let's kind of go into the science a bit then. So let's like dig into like what the benefits are, like why this kind of solution is more ESG friendly, like what. So can you like compare, the current model to what your model is, and what tangible things are your clients seeing in terms of their reporting, in terms of their ESG performance? Like what are the things you can point to as like tangible benefits of this?
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you asked that. So the environmental metrics is huge, and yet no one has ever looked into it. And even for a certified green hotel, under some of these certifications, I'm not going to name drop, so I don't get in trouble. Is that, like, I've seen their questionnaire and their criteria for being certified green hotel, and nothing has mentioned about their linens. There's been a lot of things talked about the lighting fixtures that you use. There are a lot of things being talked about how to reduce water, how to reduce your utility usage, right? Housekeeping practices, but there's nothing being said on the type of linens you use, right? And yet that's a huge part that we're neglecting here, because, like I said, every time you wash these linens, they release microplastics. And even hotels that say they're net zero, well, you're not accounting for the microplastics that you produce, what kind of CO2 that it would emit at the end of life of these linens, right? And even from you creating the demand for these linens that are synthetic, you are actually incurring the emission being made to produce these products. So just to give you an example, if you were to have just one room, let's say you're managing just one room, and there's one bed in there, and you're washing it constantly throughout the year. Let's say you have an average occupancy rate. By the end of that year, you would have contaminated 48,000 liters of water, and that's safe drinking water for about 65 people, and that's just from one room, right? If you scale that to an average hotel of 100 rooms, that equals it out to about 4.8 million liters of water. So the impact is immense, and yet no one's talking about it.
Yeah, it's good to know like the kind of the behind the scenes type look. Like like for me, like waste is kind of it's present, but it's kind of like kept hidden from like public view, which is kind of similar to what you're saying here. Like there's impacts that you don't like necessarily see, but they're still happening. So it's good to bring attention to them and offer
Yeah,
solutions to mitigate those
yeah,
risks and those
yeah,
kind of more hidden
yeah.
issues.
And in terms of tangibility, like you said, sorry I missed that part, is that unlike something that you are, flushing down the toilet or you're throwing in the garbage, the microplastic is so small and it happens in the laundry and you don't see, right? So the way we tackle that is that we actually give our customers, give our clients a live impact dashboard that show you exactly the data that you are incurring, right? So depending on your purchase habits, and also we are able to link with their reservation systems to see how often these things are being washed, and that you can get a live dashboard of what's the impact that you're creating, right? If you're using our biodegradable linens, it will show you the metrics, what you are saving from your local water systems, and that impact dashboard is actually shared with their guest through a QR code in their bedroom. So that way you can increase that type of customer interactions, customer engagement. The guests feel good about where they're staying because now they are part of the impact that you're contributing to, right?
And also just to add to that, like one big thing that I think hotels are realizing is like a lot of times a lot of their clients come from customer loyalty, and that comes from a lot of programs that people do, the extras, right? The things that people don't really want to talk about. You go to a hotel, you get the specialty soap, or you get some of these extra green initiatives. And I think it's something that a lot of people and clients and guests want to be a part of, right? And I think they don't only want to feel good on the sheets, but they want to feel good mentally, especially when they're traveling lots, right? As a lot of people do for work, they want to know that they're part of the solution rather than like an issue, right? So.
Yeah. Do you know if guests are interacting with those QR codes a lot then? Like what's the kind of like feedback you're getting from hotels or guests on this?
Yeah. So hotels they already have implemented something similar, right? In relative to their existing efforts. So whenever we go to a hotel that has some sort of sustainability efforts, they will have stickers on the mirrors, they will have signs on the nightstand, right? So it's not something new that we're adding. It's just that we're letting people know what they're
Okay.
doing, right? And guests usually like that because nowadays, I think there was a study done. I forgot the numbers, but people are becoming more and more environmentally conscious when they travel. So they look for things, they look for hotels that are doing something about the environment, doing something towards sustainability when they travel. So it definitely there's an uptrend, and we're helping a lot of hotels to catch onto that trend, um, so they get their return on investment.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like me being like kind of biased, being from the waste industry. Like I look for things like that. So like in
Yeah,
showers, for example, like if shampoo bottles are like the reuse ones, or if they're like the single use, I'll make a note of that in my head.
yeah,
And like even things like bottled water, like hotels, I used to have clients of like they used to have bottled water for guests. If they weren't used, they'd
mhm,
get thrown out and not like just to me it was like made no sense to like have that kind of constant supply of bottled water when you got clean drinking water, for example, right? So
yeah,
anyway, there's things like that that are definitely shifting because of partly like customer and guest um kind of
yeah,
what they want to like see in their rooms, and then having kind of more information given to guests on we're doing X, Y,
mhm,
Z for our ESG goals.
yeah,
That's going to help kind of clients and guests understand
exactly,
what's happening and how the hotels are making changes to be greener essentially. Yeah.
exactly.
Awesome. Yeah, so what are your plans for growth then? So what's next for you guys in terms of, is it looking like Canada and the US and abroad? Like what's the kind of next steps in your journey here?
Yeah, most definitely. For our next steps for Luxinn here, uh, the next step that we have initially is actually to start working more with long-term care facilities.
Yeah.
So we've done, well, we're still obviously going with hotel and hospitality, but we learned that a lot of these long-term care facilities have also kind of been neglecting this part as well, and they also face similar challenges. So we've been looking to work and expanding into working with them, And then also on top of this, we are expanding over to working with like larger spa chains as well. So with spas, a lot of times if you go to, well, we're in Alberta, so we have the Nordic Spa. And a lot of times people want to feel and be part of nature when you're going, because you're going to be outside. And what more better way to have sustainability be part of your, what you offer, and make people feel more in touch with the nature when it's like, they're not like, impacting it negatively. So we are looking to work with spas, both outdoor, indoor spas. There's lots of different types and there's lots of different chains. So we've been in communication with some and are still looking to expand in that. And then one other thing that we're looking to do is actually provide some retail packaging and retail options, so that people who are just regular consumers, who just every day, who just have a regular pillow at home, regular sheets or anything like that, have the opportunity to actually try these things for themselves and like take it home. And that's something that we're working on, make sure that we get the packaging, have it available like on Amazon, some of our products and stuff like that, so people can actually just try that and have use of that, and in store, of course. And then on top of that, right now we do operate Canada wide, but we are looking to go down to the States. So we're thinking about still staying kind of closer to the West Coast, but like kind of working down our way into the States slowly and surely here. So those are some of the goals, some things that we plan to do. And again, just working with our current existing clients, we're also looking for new opportunities in terms of with them opening new locations. So we actually have some plans for some of them who are opening a couple new hotels as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess like a few hotel chains have like hotels all over the world. Do you think this could be like a global solution eventually as well then, like all across continents?
Yeah. So like just to like touch base on that, I think that's a very great question for us. It's actually a big goal for us. So as Bing mentioned earlier, he was born in China, and was born in Italy, but I'm actually Nigerian. But because of that, we actually have quite a lot of passport credit, you could say. So we're able to operate in Europe, technically West Africa, some places in Asia. So I think it's a very unique opportunity for us, because usually you might be lucky to get onto one extra location, but for us, we're able to definitely look into other markets internationally, if not in Asia, definitely in some Western African countries, or if not even some places in Europe. And a lot of times people might not know, but being in Canada, a lot of people immigrate to Canada. So we have lots of people who go back now to these countries for vacation, and some of those vacation spots are no longer as cheap as they used to be. So people also want to have that same quality that they get back home. So that is something that we definitely like. Our long-term goals is to definitely push it on a much more international stage as well.
Awesome. Yeah. And I read about your internal 2027 supply chain goal as well. Could you mention a bit about that and what you're kind of hoping to achieve there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it. So we do have a very ambitious goal to be net zero by 2027, and we actually have a plan to do so, right? So right now, because our business is still quite new, but we have already implemented steps to achieve that. So we started with having recyclable packaging. Soon we'll be moving towards biodegradable packaging. So instead of the bags holding our products being made from recyclable materials, we're actually moving towards having it being biodegradable material. And then we're going to look into ways to conserve our energy with our distribution, within our distribution channel. Where we can save energy, we going to adopt hybrid vehicles or EV vehicles for some of the last mile deliveries. We will look at waste repurposing program. And what I mean by that is that we're researching into working with a facility that would kind of take in the discarded linens at the hotel level and repurposing them into other products that you can use at home or for industrial use. things like that to kind of reduce our impact, right? And then we're also looking into partnering with a carbon offset program where we can kind of purchase credits for the things that we cannot control on, or the ones that we have no other way of replacing.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's great to pursue that. I think like that kind of goal definitely would set yourself aside from other like
Yeah.
similar competitors, right? And having like suppliers or sorry, clients that are looking to, improve the ESG, having a supplier that's on a
Mhm.
similar pathway definitely would help as well, I imagine. So awesome. Yeah, it's really been great to learn more from you guys about the industry and what solutions you're coming up with. So just closing off, what will be your kind of like closing message to people listening, or like similar people, like similar companies? Like, what would you kind of say to people like not aware of the kind of behind the scenes issues you're seeing? What would your message be to them, and how they can like learn more about this and what they could do within hotels to be more ESG friendly? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean the most direct thing you can do is to go on our website. Obviously, there is a DIY calculator where you can see the kind of impact that you're missing out on and the
Yeah.
amount of savings as a hotelier that you're kind of putting off to the side that you're not utilizing right now. And what you can do further to kind of like stay in touch with us is that me and Will are actually starting our own podcast very soon
Oh,
here also. So to kind of like talk about our journey, to talk about our business, and we talk about anything relating to sustainability, relating to housekeeping practices, and things like that. And also we will be talking about some of our customer feedback on using our products. So stay tuned for that. The best you guys can do is to follow us on LinkedIn. Send us a friend request, and you'll be seeing a lot more of those content being published.
Yeah, and then for kind of a message, I would say for any hotelier or even anyone in any industry is that, I think change is something that is a little hard to actually start initially. I
yeah,
think regardless of the industry, it's easy for us to get complacent into what's comfortable and what we use. But I think once you start the implementation, it's not as hard as you think it might be. It's one of those things is like the perception because of what probably other industries have told you, or how people make it sound. These like, if you ask anybody off the street, they're going to tell you it's expensive. It's going to be hard to implement. It's not going to be the same user case. But, this is a new year, 2025. A lot of the technology that's out there is more or less the same that you're using.
yeah,
And I think a lot of times, regardless of what it is, if you actually maybe spend a little bit of time, even 30 minutes, on looking at it, you'll find at least one thing within 30 minutes that probably would not even register that would actually implement some change into your
Yeah.
business or into your life. So,
And
yeah.
and to William's point, he brought up a really good point about implementation. Is that it's actually easier to implement than you think, especially when we're talking about linens, right? If you think about the discard rate that they have every single month and how much they need to replenish, it's actually very easy to buy just one thing to replace, right? So if you think about the stuff that you have in your bed, you have pillowcases, you have sheets, you have fitted sheets, and pillows, mattresses, and all that stuff. If you can just replace one thing at a time, you're actually making a lot more difference, right?
yeah,
You're actually making a significant difference than you were last month, right? So the time to start is now. And it does, you don't need to change everything over at once. Well, I'm not asking you to swap out all your lights to be LED. I'm not asking you to put in new water filtration system. This is something that's low hanging fruit. It's very easy for you to implement because it doesn't affect your housekeeping routine, doesn't affect your operations. The only thing that you're changing is the line item on your invoice, and that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And you're being more green than ever before.
Yeah, I think it's just like getting that 1% better, like
yeah.
either each day, each year, right? If you're better than you were yesterday, I think
Mhm.
that's success. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think great points. A lot of like similarities in like zero waste that I'm kind of working in. Yeah, it's like making those small changes that add up to bigger
Mhm.
things, like the small win that you mentioned before. Like, yes, small wins that kind of snowball into bigger things, and then once people see those
Mhm.
smaller results adding up, then they're more open to those kind of bigger topics, bigger changes, right? So
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
that work in progress, that kind of chipping away at the end goal, and then
Mhm.
people see the results, and then it equals more like trust and bigger wins down the line. Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
of course.
Thanks so much for your time, guys. You're looking forward to your podcast coming out as well. So you're looking forward to that, and great to learn more about the industry and what you guys are doing. So thanks again, and yeah, great to chat to you guys.
Thank you very much for inviting us onto this
Yeah, thank you
podcast.
so much for having us. And honestly, it's been a really good time talking to you as well.
Yeah,
Thanks.
appreciate it.